Three of the most valuable companies in the world are reportedly heading towards public listing: SpaceX, OpenAI, Anthropic. Together, they represent close to $3 trillion in potential public market value. And here's the part that most beginners miss. On Phemex, you can already trade all three, even before they get listed in the stock market. Let me break down what is happening, what the risks are, and what you need to know. Hello everyone, I'm Kai and welcome back to the Mindful Crypto Life. Let's talk about this topic very clearly with no hype, so let's get right into it. SpaceX is first, and it is the biggest. On April 1, according to Bloomberg, CNBC, and Reuters, Elon Musk's company filed a confidential draft registration with the SEC. This is the first formal step towards going public. The reported target valuation is between $1.75 trillion to $2 trillion, while the target raise is up to $75 billion. If that raise goes ahead as planned, it would more than double the previous record. Saudi Aramco raised $29 billion in 2019. SpaceX is reportedly targeting $75 billion. The public S-1 filing with all the actual financials is expected this week or the next, while the roadshow is being targeted on the week of June 8. A few things worth noting. SpaceX now includes xAI, Elon Musk's startup company that owns X, which is formerly Twitter. So, this is not just a rocket company anymore. This IPO would combine rockets, Starlink broadband, and a social media platform all in one listing. Reports also indicate that approximately 30% of the shares could go to retail investors. This is roughly 3 times the typical norm. One important caveat: Musk would reportedly retain 79% of the voting control, despite owning 42% of the equity. Economic exposure? Yes. Real influence over the company? No. Polymarket currently prices the June listing at around 65% probability. For the next one, we'll be talking about OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT. On March 31, it raised $122 billion at a reported $852 billion in post-money valuation. It is reportedly generating $2 billion in revenue every single month, with 900 million active weekly users. On the IPO timeline, this one is less certain than SpaceX. CFO Sarah Frier has reportedly guided toward a regulatory filing on the second half of 2026, with an actual listing potentially in 2027. Reuters has reported that some investors already started questioning the $852 billion valuation amid strategy shifts. Nothing is locked in here yet. However, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Morgan Stanley are reportedly in discussion in advising the offering. One honest number to keep in mind: OpenAI is currently not profitable. It is projected to burn through approximately $57 billion in cash by 2027, and it does not expect to break even until 2030. This is not unusual for a company at this growth stage, but it is definitely something that viewers must understand before getting caught up in the valuation headline. And last but not the least, we need to talk about Anthropic, the company behind Claude, and the AI model that I personally use, and that many enterprises actually use alongside or instead of ChatGPT. In February 2026, Anthropic has officially confirmed a $30 billion Series G round at a $380 billion valuation. By March, its annualized revenue had reportedly hit $30 billion, up from $9 billion at the end of 2025. This is exceptionally fast growth by any standard. 8 of the Fortune 10 companies are reportedly Claude customers. Over 1,000 enterprise clients are each spending at least $1 million per year. On the IPO, Anthropic is currently being discussed as a strong candidate for June or October 2026 listing. In private secondary markets, valuation talks has reportedly crossed $1 trillion. But no filing has been confirmed yet. What is confirmed? A new funding round targeting $50 billion is reportedly underway, and Google committed up to $40 billion. On May 6, Anthropic has signed a compute infrastructure deal with SpaceX, using SpaceX's Colossus supercomputer cluster in Memphis, which houses over 100,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs to train their AI model. These companies are not just IPOing separately. They are actively building infrastructures together. Here is the part that most of the coverage out there is missing. If these three companies each float the standard 15 to 25% of the shares at IPO, public markets would have to absorb $432 billion to $576 billion in a single quarter. The entire US IPO market only raised $469 billion in over a decade from 2016 to 2025. That would be extremely difficult for the public markets to absorb in one single window. So what happens instead? Each company would likely debut with a much smaller float, 3 to 8% to manage demand. That creates tight supply, which could push the prices fast after listing. But it also means that most shares stay locked with insiders for a long time. That is the structural reality behind these headline numbers, worth understanding before you make any decisions. Here is the direct connection right now. Phemex has launched pre-IPO contracts for OpenAI, SpaceX, and Anthropic. You can trade all three today with up to 10x leverage before they get publicly listed. And from May 9 to May 23, Phemex is running a campaign with 50,000 USDT in prize pool for the market participants. All you have to do is complete the tasks, build your trading volume, and earn your share. Before you do anything, let me be clear about a few things. 1. These are synthetic futures contracts. So how does this work? They track the estimated valuation of these companies based on the secondary market pricing. 2. You do not own any shares. 3. You do not receive any equity. 4. You do not have shareholder rights. And 5. This is price speculation on private company valuations and not investing on the actual company themselves. Other exchanges have launched similar product this week, and this is becoming a whole category on its own. Phemex is one of the first major exchanges to list it with live events. So if you're interested in exploring this new market, make sure to check out the link down below. For a quick recap, SpaceX is reportedly targeting June listing with up to $75 billion in raise, and probably the largest IPO ever attempted. OpenAI, $852 billion in private valuation. Timeline is less certain. Filing is expected in the second half of 2026. Anthropic has the fastest growing revenue among all the three, near $1 trillion in private market valuation. June or October IPO listing is being discussed. Combined, that's close to $3 trillion. A potential stress test for the public market unlike anything we have seen before. And Phemex lets you trade all of this today. As always, this is not a financial advice. Do what you want with this information, but make sure to do your own research too. And if you like this type of content and want to stay updated in this new market at Phemex, let me know down in the comment section below. And if you find this helpful, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Again, this is Sky from the Mindful Crypto Life. It's always great to see you here. And as always, I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye!